Welcome to another episode of Physioversity. Myself Namita Kaushik. In our last class, we have learned about internal structure of the neuron with cytoplasm and the organelles contained in it. Today we'll learn about the plasma membrane or the external covering of the neuron. This plasma membrane is anatomically and physiologically very important structure of neuron as it helps in protecting the neuron, of course, and functionally it helps in the transport of impulse from one neuron to the other via action potential. Now, this plasma membrane is 8 nanometer in thickness and is consist of protein, lipid as layers arranged inside it. Now let's see how these protein and lipid are arranged inside the plasma membrane. This is usually seen under the electron microscope. When seen under the microscope, electron microscope, we can find plasma membrane has protein, 2 layers of protein, that is external and internal, and 2 layers of lipid known as phospholipid. The external layer of protein and the internal layer of protein are basically the protein molecules arranged loosely and very like in a chain like pattern throughout this plasma membrane. Inside this 2 layers of protein, we can find a lipid layer, that is phospholipid. This phospholipid has a special structure, that is, it has a round shaped portion, that is hydrophilic end, and a thin filament like portion, that is hydrophobic end. These two ends are named based on their property, that is hydrophilic, that is which is attracted towards water or which loves water, and hydrophobic means the portion that wants to repel water or moves away from the water. So this phospholipids are arranged in such a way in plasma membrane that the hydrophilic portion goes towards the protein end of the plasma membrane, that is both round portion that you can see. These are the hydrophilic portion of the phospholipid, and the hydrophobic end of the phospholipid are facing each other towards the center of this plasma membrane. So if I see this plasma membrane under the microscope, I will first come across protein layer, then I will come across the hydrophilic end of the phospholipid, then I will come across the hydrophobic end, then again I will come across the hydrophilic end, and I will again come across protein layer. So this way these protein and lipid molecules are arranged inside the plasma membrane. Now this arrangement goes throughout the neuron in cell body and dendron structures. But in the axon, at certain intervals, we can also find this two large protein-like structure that extends throughout the plasma membrane. They actually act as the gateway for allowing inorganic ions like sodium and potassium to pass in and out of the neuron. As we know, saltatory conduction or the conduction of impulse that happens through the neuron includes the transport of ion like potassium and sodium in and out of the neuron. But as phospholipid layer is very strongly arranged that it does not allow all and every structure to pass through, so we have these channels at intervals from which this transport becomes easy. This is about the protein that forms the gateway for the ions. Over this protein layer, we find carbohydrate coating, which together with protein and lipid layer acts as the semi-permeable membrane for the neuron. and allows selective ions and other chemicals to pass through the neurons. This is all about plasma membrane.